everybody. Thank you again for another episode of the OG Pumpkin podcast. I found an intro, and hopefully you are listening to it. I got the idea from Andy Stump's podcast. But yeah, so today's guest is two, but one is running late. Hopefully he can make it. But Christian is here. So introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Christian. Not sure like how to introduce myself. I hate introducing myself. Like it just feels like I'm patting myself in the back or like stroking myself.
I'll do it for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that,
dude. How we met? Because I don't know, probably the TBI from the suicide bombers or all the fucking explosions.
Okay.
But how we met was because of Ryan, the other guest.
Right.
And I'm terrible at remembering names. And then when I put your name in my phone, I like to put something that okay, this is how I'm gonna remember him. Because I used to have like, I know Mike from the gym. I'll put Mike in my phone. And then when I have to call Mike, there's fucking 3 Mikes. So
right.
I'm like, okay, I gotta stop doing this. And I met you, so I put Christian hit by a car.
Wait, is that my name?
Yes.
Because I think, did I meet you like a couple of days after? Was that Ryan's thing or?
Yeah. Dude, like you were fresh because when I asked you and I was like, damn, like, cause I thought the way you were talking, or at least the way I was.
No, it was literally 2-3 days like after I got hit by a car.
Yeah. Dude, what happened?
I mean, I ride motorcycles. I mean, I don't ride them as much as I used to anymore. Not because of the accident, just because I've been busy. But yeah, I used to ride motorcycles like all the time in LA. Like as soon as I got back from the army, like it was just riding bikes. And in LA, it's like great. It's like, the traffic doesn't exist. You're like splitting lanes, and I'm not going like killing it, but like some people go like 60 miles an hour down the splitting lanes, waiting to die. I was going like 30, 40, and I was at the time living in Long Beach, driving up to Santa Monica on my bike. So it was like kind of a long commute. So motorcycle, splitting down the 405. Friday night, I had this girl waiting for me at my house. It was going to be great. I was like, fuck yeah, weekend, going to be chill. Like, get off work, hop on the 405, split in the lanes, and then I see like 3 or 4 car lanes in front of me. Some dude just pop out like, so I'm driving in between like the carpool lanes, right? And it's like double, like, I don't know if you've been on the 405 South, right by LAX. It's like double wide, like double yellow lines. Like, and super wide, like double arm length, like you could. So I'm like chilling, and I see a car, and I'm like, oh fuck, okay. So it gives me like a little spider sense, like I'm like, oh, I should probably back off. So I slow down a little bit, and I'm like, all right, cool. And I just keep driving, and then like the dude, like 1 car length in front of me, just boom, swerves right back into the carpool lane, and just and I'm like, fuck. So I slam on my brakes, slide out, and I'm like probably, I don't know, a couple feet away from like not hitting him, but I hit him and I flip over. I mean, roll over like 5 or 6 times. Thank God the shoulder was like real wide, because if it was like one of those like freeways where the shoulder and the median is like there is no shoulder, I would have just like flew into like opposing traffic and then would have just gotten hit or something.
Dude, I saw that almost happen. As a matter of fact, from where Ryan is driving from, there's a hike by Palm Springs that my friend and I did. And as we're driving, 2 dudes in a motorcycle are riding, and a car, I'm not sure, probably didn't see them, made the other dude swerve. Mm-hmm. So then the other dude swerved even more and fell off.
Shit.
And fell off right in front of me we were slowing down maybe 50 miles an hour, dude, but he fell off going 50 miles an hour, and he just rolled into the other lane. And dude, I remember just like, fuck, like, so like, dude, like,
this guy's gonna die.
He's about to get run over, and a car slowed down, went to the other lane, and then he got on real quick to where his bike was at, and then traffic stopped. But I remember just being like, dude,
I almost watched someone get murdered.
Yeah, I was like, and meanwhile, my friend that I did the hike with, fucking racked out, just. So Eric, if you're listening to it, yeah, dude. So I woke him up and I tried to tell him, but obviously me telling him the story didn't really do it much justice. But yeah, dude. So I met you because you met Ryan at USC, right? You are a veteran of for how many years?
5 years. So
5
5
years.
years active Army. Was an 82nd.
Yep. Spent some 80 seconds. Spent some time overseas. How many months combined?
It was only 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then you go to USC for business.
I was actually in a different program from the Marshall Business School. So it was like the Price Real Estate Development School.
Yeah.
So, but I met Ryan in like the Veteran Center, and I think he saw like my tab or something on my backpack or some shit like that, and we just struck up a conversation. And it was funny because, like, I had always believed so I went to Ranger School, and it took me like 5 fucking months. I was there like fucking
Forever.
almost longer than I was in Afghanistan. Like shit was like shitty.
Yeah.
And most of it was because cycle breaks. Like I hit BRC Best Ranger, and then I hit fucking like cycle break, and it was. I mean, I got recycled on some shit that's just. I'm still bitter about it.
How many times did you get recycled?
Just twice.
Which phases?
Mountain, which sucked. I mean, it was
Dude.
like so shitty too, because I watched my dudes my platoon just like hop on a bus, drive out, and the next bus just comes right in, and like your stomach just like fucking sinks. You're just like, God damn it.
Dude, mountain phase was the one phase I went first round go at mountains, but I recycled Florida. And when the dudes who recycled mountains caught up to me, they looked like different human beings.
Dude, it was like Holocaust survivors. It's
Yes,
rough, man.
I was just like, dude, we had lost weight. I can see my cheekbones very defined. And then when they got to me, I was just like lost. And meanwhile, because I was on 12-day break, I was eating so much, dude, so I gained so much weight, and it all went to my face. So they're like, their cheeks are so sunk in. Meanwhile, they see me, and you're like, bro, you're over here eating?
Bro, I was on a cycle break because the cadre took like the 2-week break for like block leave.
Yeah.
So yeah, the same thing in Florida. I recycled Florida. It was over some bullshit too, because I got 2 major minuses because some fucking some squad leader lost a guy. I mean, I was in the lead squad, right? So
Yeah.
I was taking point, heading out. We got a good count. All right, cool. We head out. No problem. Turns out, like, someone in weapons squad, like, they left their AG
Yeah.
back in the rear. Like, we were in March, like, a click and a half.
Yeah.
And then the cadre found out, and then they flipped the fuck out. Because obviously, like, they probably got their shit chewed out because it's like, what the fuck? There's this soldier, like, just in the woods. Like, the other platoon ended up fighting him, wandering around. And they probably were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because, you just leave a guy behind. Like, that's like fucking, obviously all the leaders got axed on that patrol because, the 3 things, like you don't fucking lose a guy, you don't lose equipment, and you don't fucking fratricide. Like,
Yeah.
so, you did that. That's like the Cardinal Center Ranger School. And basically, the cadre were so pissed that they decided, like, all the team leaders, too, even though it wasn't even my fucking squad, I got 2 spot reports. And I had one coming in because, like, I don't know, they caught me sleeping or some shit.
Yeah.
So, boom, I got recycled on that.
Dude, my first, well, that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But, dude, within 48 hours of Ranger School, I got 3 major minuses. So when I got my third one, I had heard if you get 3 major minuses, you're out.
Yeah.
And I asked them when they gave me my third one, I was like, oh, this is number 3. So does this, what, do I get sent back? And the cadre's like, what the fuck? And he's like, how'd you already get 3 since you've been here? I was like, I don't know. They're just giving them out.
48 hours?
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck?
Dude, they're giving them
like
out,
in
man.
Darby?
Yeah,
Or
dude.
like in what, RIP?
Dude, yeah. Like, when I got there, and because how many days in are you that you do the obstacle course, like the first fucking day, right?
It feels like it's like a fucking week, but I think it's like 3 days,
So,
like
okay,
it's like the Darby Queen or some bullshit. It's all rammed together.
We did it on the second day, or maybe third day. Either way. So we're all fucking dirty, and we're like, okay, well, do we wash our clothes? And then the cadre hinted like that would be smart of you. So we wash our clothes, and then they're like, we're gonna do layouts. And then we were like, okay. They're like, where are your pants? And I was like, oh, they're
hanging up.
They're in the washer.
Oh shit! You would like okay.
Yeah, they're in the washer, and they're like, major minus. And I was like, fuck. and then they're like, hey, they're like,
But that's how that shit rolls, man. It's just like fuck up games, and then like
yeah.
and it literally like I can imagine behind the scenes. Like, I fucking have friends of mine that are RIs now, and I could probably ask them like, yo, like. Because you imagine, like, these dudes, like, he told me to do this, and instead of being like, well, that guy fucked up, it's like, nah, fuck you, you get a major minus.
Yeah.
And then behind the scenes, they're probably like, oh, yeah, well, that was stupid. Why'd you tell him to do that?
Yeah, dude, why'd you tell him to do that?
Yeah.
So then that dude leaves, and then it's the captain RI.
Oh,
and
fuck.
he's like, "Where's your shirt? Where's your top?" And I was like, "Oh, it's,
Wait, so what are you like in your shorts or like?
no, I'm in a whole nother uniform, a clean uniform."
Oh, okay.
Right? So I'm washing one uniform, and I got another clean uniform. They're like, "Where's your top?" And I was like,
Oh, so you have your layout and you're missing stuff.
"Yeah."
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, "Oh, it's gone." They're like, "Major minus." And I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Yo, that's two."
Yeah, two
And then
two major minuses.
And then I think the third one was, they threw all our shit, and I was in, I didn't pack it fast enough, or did it properly, or something. It was something minor. They're like, "Oh yeah, major minus," and I was like, "Yo, that's 3." But anyways, dude. So what is it like going from Ranger School, Afghanistan? And I don't mean to gloss over your military career, but I'm very fascinated in doing that, and then you find yourself in USC.
Oh, dude, it's like a whole different world, man. I mean, and USC it is legit like a country club, dude. Like, there is a broad variety of people there, to be sure, right? There's like a big veteran community. It's like 30,000 people, so there's a broad variety of people, and they have a lot of special grants and endowment that help like lower income people. But I mean, the people that most people I guess you meet and I think part of me was like trying to network more with like the more successful people or the people who are well connected. So it's like, because you have people who like, like all of Newport Beach, like basically, like they're very wealthy, very well off, and like completely disconnected. And then also I'm like 28 at the time, going back to school. And these are like 18-year-old kids who, I mean, I don't think they even remember 9/11, or like they learned about it in a history book, like, not like as it happened and felt it, like, so like the war in Afghanistan to them is like, oh, that's a place that we've been at war with and we shouldn't be there. And like, thank you for your service, but also whatever you did there doesn't really, and I can't speak for all of them. Like there's people that were like more, I guess, supportive, and more people that were like interested in like, there's people that were, you get the stupid question like, oh, what's it like to like do this or that or kill somebody or some shit like that, and it's like, dude, like, or people just, I personally don't take offense. Like I feel like it's just like just don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Like civilians like just don't know like how to interact, like because you tell them something like it may be like a little heavy, and it's like it's just like someone telling you like, hey, my dad just died and I just met you, and you're just like, oh fuck, well, what do I say to you, like how'd you die or some shit.
Yeah.
So maybe like that I try not to be like, well, fuck that guy. I mean, I just like, all right, well, this kid probably just no bearing on understanding. But there is like some people that are there that like really understand or try to like connect, and I think they have a good group of veterans. I mean, they have a big group of veterans there that, have connected with Ryan and connected with a bunch of other good dudes that I think, you tend to, I guess, gravitate towards more like the combat veterans because like you have that similar background. And you kind of get each other. Yeah. Sometimes.
And was it, what's the word I'm looking for? Intimidating? Like, for example, like, dude, for me, when I first went to school, I failed everything in high school. Like, the only thing I passed was math and PE. Other than that, dude, I learned how to speak English when I was 12, so my vocabulary going into the military wasn't high. It did improve, but going out, like, the idea of college, if I would apply myself, I knew I would be successful. But, dude, I remember my first day, I was nervous. I mean, this is my first time back in a classroom. And the last time I was in a classroom, I couldn't understand half the words because I didn't really know English that well. So, I mean, I was scared.
No, I can't. I personally can't relate to that experience. Like, learning English as a second language, that's got to be like its own.
But maybe not in that way, but just like, it's USC. It's a higher caliber of environment.
I felt like so going in out of the military, I immediately, like, I got out of the military like in March. Like 3 days later, I was in Santa Monica College. Like I was like, cool, I'm gonna fucking crush it and just hit it hard. And I felt like a junior college. Like I was like,
felt good.
Felt good, solid, like
so
straight A's, like no problem. Like, and it was nice because like at USC they have A minuses and they have B pluses and they have like more stratification. So if you get like a 90, it's like you have an A minus, bro, not an A.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it's also more competitive. Like I feel, there's some classes that are graded on the curve, and I've taken a test where you just feel like a fucking idiot. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, it turned out like the median score was like 40%.
Yeah.
So like you're answering questions like on that test, and like 60% of them are getting them wrong. And most of the time you're like, what the fuck? Like you look like I get 9 out of 10 wrong, you know, like what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And you just look at a question, you're just like, I don't even know what the hell it's asking. Like, it was a statistics class, and the professor, you know, he wasn't great. Like, it was a big lecture hall, like, and it was like one of my first classes, and that's when I felt like, man, I'm too fucking stupid to be here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm way too dumb to be at SC. And like, you know, it was one of my first classes. And then I walked up to the professor and like, hey, can you help me out? And like, he's like, meet me in office hours. But like, I asked him questions, and I felt like this guy, like, just like thought I was questioning him, you know, maybe like the way I phrased the question or something. But it was like, he thought like I was like questioning, like, you don't understand what you're doing, or I don't know what, but he wasn't like good at teaching. I think he was one of those dudes that just wanted to be a researcher, because USC is a big research institution. So a lot of the researchers have to teach as part of like their job. So it's like part of the job that they don't want to fucking do.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't want to be a teacher. Like, I want to be a fucking researcher and like do this cutting edge like stuff, and like babysitting these kids and teaching them some stuff that's like real basic, because he's like an actual statistician, and like we're learning level 100 statistics.
Yeah.
And he's not good at explaining it. And also I imagine he's probably like real smart and didn't struggle with this shit. So it's like, what the fuck, you don't get it?
Yeah.
Like,
come on, dude, it's easy.
Yeah, this
right
is simple. Like, so I had that professor, and I was just like, God damn it, like, what the fuck? I had to hire a tutor, spent like a couple $150 like to get tutoring, and you ended up like with a B-, and I was like so happy. I was like, fuck yeah, because I was like, man, I'm gonna get my first C in college.
And what? So let's go back a little bit. So before USC, you had to do community college for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wanted to, because I think straight out, like, I was like, you know, I haven't really flexed my brain, like. You know, you do some math in the military, but it's, you know,
No, I know what you mean. It's just somebody, I put it up that you guys were going to be on, and somebody was, that was a good question. They were like, hey, do you have to do community?
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you go straight in.
Yeah.
But I think if you're transitioning out, it helps. There's pros and cons. I think that the pro is that spending more time, and I regret like graduating so quickly out of USC, because that was like my goal. Like, I'm going to graduate, work in a career field, and just like get back into it, because I was like, I felt like I was older, and spending more time there, because you could build more networking and go to a lot more events, and like, because college isn't just like the stuff you learn, it's like the people you meet.
Yes, 100%, dude. It's networking. It's they drill that in your head, and that's all I've been doing. It's just like networking, even outside of.
Well, even this like podcast right here, right? Because I met Ryan, I met you, the missing man, Ryan.
Yeah, he'll be here.
Yeah, let's hope.
But
if not, we're roasting him.
We're gonna roast him real hard. And so you do that, you meet Ryan, and did you guys graduate together?
I think so. Because I mean, he was in a different program. Well, you know, USC is a big school, so like, we had.
No, actually, I don't know. I shouldn't have said. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
Yeah, it's like within the school itself, there's different colleges. Like, there's like the, I don't know, architecture school, right? There's like the medical school. Like, there's, you know, public policy school, like business school. There's, even within like the business school, there's like finance and accounting. So, you know, it's sort of stratified. And at the time, like, we graduated, there's like the general ceremony, but then there's like the individual ceremonies, which like you kind of break out, and like that's when they actually give out the diplomas. Because the general ceremony is like, you got like, I don't know, 10, 15,000 people, you can be giving out diplomas like that. It's like, I don't want to sit. I mean, as it is, like, I don't want to sit in this, like, I don't particularly like ceremonies like out of the military. Like, it's like, I'm done with horse and pony shows. God, dude. And I'm like, just give me my diploma. Like, let's call it a day. Like, I don't need you. But I went there because, you know, my parents, like, they love that stuff.
Yeah. No, yeah, I do it for them, man. I wasn't going to do, like, my community college graduation was huge for my family.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, no one has a degree in my family until now, right? So I'm working on my last semester on my bachelor's. But before that, dude, I'm talking about, like, everybody showed up. And they were like, "Are you gonna do it?" I was like, "What? No." And they're like, "It's community college." And they're like, "Everyone's going." You know
Yeah.
that, right? And I was like, I got the date. Everyone's taking time off, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. So now, it took me a while, but now I see I do things not for what I made like it or not. It's for others.
Yeah, it's my mom like flips for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Me personally, it's like I'm just sitting there. They're handing out a bunch of names. They're calling people
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like,
And you went to school for what specifically?
so real estate development.
And what was your goal?
I wanted to. I mean, honestly, it was like looking for a career that paid, essentially, like finance or real estate or one of those like insurance or something, in that field, because I like whatever I could learn some skills, get paid a little more, and do that.
Yeah, but why not, man? You do your time, get out, make some money.
Yeah.
Have a good time, dude. But something happened, and we haven't talked about it much, but I mean, now's the perfect time. So something happened, and then what? Instead of doing that, what are you doing now?
So now I'm taking over my family business. So I worked in the real estate field, I guess, for like a little over a year and a half. Did several internships with different companies, some big developers. I don't know. I didn't like the vibe or the culture. Mm-hmm. I would say. Plus, I don't know. I just didn't want to. That feeling. You're just like, I don't want to go to work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's missing here? And I don't know. I feel like it's night and day, like being an owner, like because all my decisions and all of like. I mean, it's all on me, and it is stressful, and there's a lot of things that are just like giving you headaches and like things you plan and they don't go right, and constantly getting like a phone call that you're like, damn.
What is it? What's the family business?
So my family owns a bakery. So they've had it in, it's called Las Americas Bakery. It's been in the family since '84. So my dad bought it from my uncle, and then he ran it for several years. Like 15 years ago, he had a stroke and he lost his vision.
Yeah.
And that was like, it was like the worst timing, because like there's never a good time for that sort of thing to happen.
Yeah.
Right. But I think, it was in the middle of like the financial meltdown and the recession, like in 2008, 2009, he had, this accident, and then he had a stroke and he lost his vision. And on top of that, the business was struggling, so my mom had to like both juggle like take care of my dad and all the medical stuff and taking care of the business. And she was like involved, like she was definitely involved in the business, but she wasn't like, on point and everything. So she had to like step up to the plate and do that.
Yeah.
And so that was like a big thing. And
what made you want to take over?
Well, I like the idea of being an entrepreneur over everything.
Yeah.
And also, it's like the family business. It's like family. I like working with my hands. I like working on the product that like I could see and touch, and it's like something that people enjoy. And
where can people go to enjoy this?
Oh, they go to our bakery, man. You want me to plug it? All right.
Give me the address and what you serve per item, per menu. Come on, homie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm bad at self-promotion. But so essentially, the bakery's in North Hollywood, right? It's on Sherman Way in Whitsa. It's called Las Americas. And we do like pan dulce, we do pastries, cakes, quinceañeras, weddings. We do custom cakes, screen print cakes. We'll do a lot of traditional Guatemalan and Salvadorian foods, so pollo guisado, pollo con, pollo en crema. A lot of, most of our customers are customers that have been going to our shop for like 30 years.
Yeah, and you guys can, because I went to go visit and kick it for a while. They could eat there, and then do you guys also do catering or?
Yeah, we could do orders. If someone calls ahead, we're like within 48 hours, like we'll like do a whole bandeja or a whole tray of beans, rice, any of our plates or dishes. So chicken, beef. So we do revolcado, hilachas.
And dude, what's pan dulce? If you were to describe pan dulce to someone who doesn't know pan dulce, because look, the majority of my followers and the listeners, I would like to say are probably white.
Yeah.
And
So
You know?
it literally translates to sweetbread, but that's not what like it is.
Yeah.
It's more of like a traditional style of bread that happens to be sweet, but
Yeah.
not all of it is sweet. So it's really great complementary with like coffee. You know, you dunk in your coffee. You have like a big concha. Like that one's like the most popular in terms
Yeah.
of like if you're white and you've seen pan dulce, you've seen conchas.
Yeah,
You know,
dude. Because my homie, he calls it sugar biscuits. He's
sugar
like,
biscuits.
he's like, dude. He was, dude. So like, he's hilarious. Fucking Taryn. If he's probably listening to this.
Yeah.
Dude, I met Taryn. He's like he's one of those like Mexican white boys.
Yeah.
Dude, like I remember I started working in this one spot, and this is my first day, dude. I don't even think I'm 20 minutes in the fucking shop. He comes up to me, and they're blasting music, right? He comes up to me and he's like, "This one's for you," and he starts playing SPM, and I was just like, bro, and I was like, I don't know who this white boy is, but he tells me this song's for me, and it's fucking SPM, and then I was like, yeah, I know every word to this song, and I was like, dude, what the fuck, like.
That's funny.
Dude, he's deep in the Mexican culture, and he's just, as a joke, calls it sugar biscuits. So from now on, I'm like, yeah, dude, it's just sugar biscuits. But
You
it's
know,
not.
I'll put it out. I'll do that the branding.
Yeah, all right, dude. But dude, because as soon as you told me that you took over your family's business, like I hit home to me, one, because you stepped up, and you know, you have your dreams, you have your path, and you just, you know, life happens, and you decided to go do that. And dude, I have a strong relationship with Pan Dulce because when my parents first came here, they were bakers, and I have a lot of my first memories of just because there's no babysitters, just being in the back of the bakery. And sometimes as soon as you get old enough, they make you wash charolas, you know, which are just the trays, right?
Yeah, the baking pans.
Yeah, the baking pans. And dude, we've spent hours and hours and there, dude.
There's a lot of work, man.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
You wake up, you got to start making, because people
People
there
expect the bread, like, so we
Yeah.
open at 6:30, right? And they want the bread hot, ready, like
Yep.
good to go.
because they got
So,
work.
Yeah, they got work. Like most of our customers come in are like the contractors, like your housekeepers, like all those people that like essentially keep the economy running. Like they're run off bundles, right? So
Yep.
it's
Coffee,
like fuels
pan dulce.
them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like instead of like coffee and donuts, coffee and pan dulce.
Yeah.
So they go ahead and grab that shit and they want it fresh. So we come in at like 4 or 5 in the morning, like get it all prepped, you know, and then we're starting production and everything we make is like fresh that day.
Dude,
So
and I love it, man. I wish I would have paid more attention, because like you know way more than I do. But for
well, I mean, I own it, so and I've been rolling my sleeves up. And I mean, I was involved in the business like my whole life growing up, you know. But like sort of at the capacity you were, you know, dishwashing, and then sometimes I'd help on the bench. But like obviously now, like I have to know my product, you know. Like
Yeah.
I can't not know like what goes into like what we make and how it all comes together, what the names of everything are, and then you know promoting it, but also knowing it, right? So I have to know this stuff. I mean, it's what we do, right?
yeah,
So, yeah, but I mean, it the amount of work that goes into making it's really like artisanal, right? Like it's
Yeah.
all handmade. It's all like freshly rolled from scratch. Like we make all the flours and our doughs, and we just knead it all up, and then every day we're like out there baking it, and it's just like a ton of production.
it is.
So it's a ton of hard work. Like I always like tip my hat to the bakers, like, you know, 'cause sometimes I'm not working in the bakery. Like I have to take like a more administrative role and look at like the bigger picture stuff. 'Cause if I'm on that bench, like 8 to 12 hours, like you're done, man. Like at the end of the day, you're just like, I can't do anything else.
How many times has that happened to you? Where you're just like, fuck, dude, I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if, because that's part of entrepreneurship, right?
Oh yeah, you mean like just self-doubt?
Yeah.
Like, dude, all the time, man. It's like, and then I'm because I'm questioning, like, because I'm not fully the owner right now. My mom's still running it, so I'm just on salary. And so like I took like a pay cut to come in and work, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, I could be making, I don't know, a lot more working in real estate and doing all the Excel models and doing all these sort of things. And like, I'm like, what am I, you know, I have all these skills from SC, like, am I really making that decision to like step back and do this? And then you have that, like, just that voice in your head is just constantly like, just doubting you for doubting you. And are you just waking up in the morning and you're just like 4 or 5 in the morning, you wake up and show up and it's like, fuck. Or something goes wrong, you know, like one of your employees quits, or like I had one of my janitors drunk, you know, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like herding cats here, and it's
What's harder to herd, Joes in the military, or bakers who like to go party late at night?
I don't know, man. 'Cause it's different, you know, like, cause you know, the screw, you could really put the screws in, you know, as like, you know, whatever,
And which
team
one?
leader.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, I guess like a fire guys, but like right now it's like hard because there's a big labor shortage.
Yeah.
And so like I can't find bakers to save my life. We're
Dude,
trying
what,
to find a
what
baker.
is that like right now? Is that whole fucking unemployment thing, or it's a real thing?
I mean, I don't know what's specifically driving it overall, like arching macroeconomic policy, but I can say that, yeah, we're probably competing with not just other bakeries, but I'm having to compete with unemployment benefits, right?
Yeah.
If
'Cause
someone
everywhere I drive, it's we're hiring.
everywhere, and it's like I talk to like, and I'll reach out and like I go skydiving and I'll talk to the taco truck guy that like, you know, shows up to the drop zone, and I'll start chatting with him and I'm like, hey man, I'm looking for bakers, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for dishwashers. He's like, yeah, good luck, bro. Like I'm trying to find people too. Like we can't, like no one can find people. I was like, I don't know, like they all just disappear. Like I don't know if it was, you know, a combination of, you know, Trump's border policy, immigration policies. People maybe left the country because of COVID, you know, because all the restaurants and everything closed, so they all just left and then decided not to come back.
Yeah.
And then maybe also combined with unemployment policies, like maybe all that like combined is creating this huge labor shortage for like these I wouldn't say unskilled laborers, but laborers like.
Dude, it's hard. It's something that a lot of people either like to ignore or gloss over. But let me tell you something, man. No one who's born in this country is gonna go to USC, graduate, and be like, you know what I want to do? I want to be in the fields, and I want to pick the fruit, or I want to be in a bakery and wake up and have to be there at 4 a.m., or I want to go, you know, do this or that, or mow fucking lawns, or whatever it is, or construction. I surf at Newport Beach all the time. All the fucking construction workers are Mexican. I go to, what is it? San Clemente. I go to Manhattan Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm going to go surf at 5, there's already trucks and trucks of those dudes with pan dulce, coffee, ready to make shit happen.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And it's like, you got to face it, man. It's all these people who coming from other countries who are a big part of running this country. So when you say, what was it for the people who this might have been their first time hearing this, well, I'm going to school to become a registered dietitian, right? And for one of my classes, there was a documentary that we had to watch and do a report. I can't remember what state it was, Alabama, but it was around that area, right?
Mm-hmm.
They said no more illegal immigrants, and they cracked down.
Right.
So all the farmers had to obey, and they got rid of all the workers.
Mm-hmm.
So then they opened it up, and for a while they didn't have any workers. But then they did start getting people that were born here, and some of the chief complaints were like they're too slow, they want to take breaks, they quit on me, and it got so bad that they backtracked. And then it's so based on policy, you can't just take something away and say, oh, sorry, it turns out we need them. So they set it to where, okay, now there's new adjusted guidelines.
Right.
And then the regular
Right.
workforce came back.
It's like a politician's not going to take ownership of like making a bad policy.
Yeah.
Like no, like politician's ever going to be like, yeah, I fucked up.
Yeah.
So they're just like lie, or they'll just deflect, or they'll say like, oh, we have a new policy now.
Yeah.
Never mind that old one.
So, you know, it's stuff like that's kind of upsetting. And as a matter of fact, somebody asked me, I went on American Cholo podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And it was we tried to do it by Zoom, and my Wi-Fi is fucking slow because everybody's on Wi-Fi around my house. And then we did by phone call. And one of the questions he asked me was, because it was live on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he asked me on because he wanted to talk about the whole Afghanistan situation. And then, but before, he's like, I guess somebody had asked in the group chat, he's like, hey, what's his thought on people who are not born in the United States who go serve and then get deported for doing a crime, like a DUI or something? And I didn't know that was a thing until I got in. I remember when I got in basic training, you meet everybody, right? Like That's my first time actually meeting people from New York, from the Midwest, from
Yeah,
Miami. And I remember
It's a bit of a culture shock, man.
it is, man, and I like it though.
No, I loved it. I think I'm very grateful. Like that's one of the like biggest experiences that you learn about like the whole country and how different people have different perspectives.
And
like,
they
where
grow
they're
up a
at.
certain way. And, and the younger version of me would get upset if I heard this or that. But then now I like to put myself in the person's shoes and was like, well, if they were born in this place and they were taught this, and that, and that's all they know, you know, and it may not be correct 100% of what they were taught. I can't immediately just be angry at them of what they're saying is I don't agree with, right? Even though I know better. So I try to put myself in other people's shoes and understand their situation. And basic is when I really started noticing the differences in this country. Like I remember there was a white dude, he's like, hey man, he's like, this is my first time seeing a Mexican in person. He's like, dude, we have a few blacks.
How do you come up to you and say that? I just think that's a funny thing to say to somebody like, hey man, I've never met a Mexican.
Because we were all talking. You have a bunch of time to fucking chill.
Fuck yeah.
And like for example, we talked about where we grew up, why we're going in. You know, some of the guys were like, hey man, my dad was
30th
in.
AG?
Huh?
At 30th?
Yeah. Some of the dudes were like, yo man, my dad was in.
Right.
My grandpa was in. Some dudes were like, you know, fucking 9/11, or I got a cousin who was killed, or I got a cousin who was in, or a sister or whatever.
Yeah.
And one of the dudes, I remember, he was like, he's like, I'm joining because I want to, you know, get back to this country because I love it and it's done so much for my family, but also because I found out I wasn't born in the United States. In high school, my mom told me, by the way,
that's like shit.
You're not born here. So
yeah, I know you thought you were a citizen, but
you're
actually you don't have like the legal protections.
So that's when I was just like, oh shit, you're allowed to serve and not be here. And then when I said that, it's like 3 other people were like, oh yeah, like I'm not born here, I'm serving.
Yeah.
And they were all Mexican. But then I remember in Iraq, when we came back from Iraq, one of the dudes he was in another platoon, but I kind of knew him. They're like, hey, they're gonna do a ceremony for Ivan. He's gonna do his citizenship ceremony.
Yeah.
And based off the schedule, I remember saying, okay, I'm gonna go work out, and then since everyone's going over there, I'll go over there, and go show my support. And as I turned the T barrier, there was like a formation about 100 people. About 50 of them were like Mexican or brown. You know, they could be from anywhere.
Okay.
And then the bigger chunk was white, small, brown, and then a few like Asians. And I remember seeing one of my dudes in my platoon. And it was like, hey man, is this the right spot? And he's like, yeah, man. And I'm like, and I remember I pointed at the white dudes, and I was like, why are they there? And they all looked at me and were like, what, you thought Mexicans were the only ones that were illegal here? I was like, yes, motherfucker. Growing up, that's all you see on the news is brown people jumping over, Mexican this, Mexican that. I had no idea there was white people that were illegal.
Europeans and shit.
Yeah, I didn't know there was blacks that were illegal. In my head, I thought, well, because I'm 18 at this point. I'm 18 in Iraq. And I remember thinking like, well, I thought black people were just here all the time. And Asians, I was like, I don't know. I never even thought that they would come illegal as well. I'm like, and then that's when like I started learning more and more about the world. And yeah, dude, I don't even know where I was going with that. But the military is what really opens your eyes and stuff like that.
You get to a cross section of the country and see people with just these like completely different.
And you come here, and then shit that didn't matter over there starts mattering. Like, dude, I went to war with people who were born and raised in like you said, like the country club type environments, and they got college degrees. I got dudes who only had GEDs, guys who were Christian, Catholic, atheists, you know, listen to country rap, like whatever, you know, there were all this, and then not till we come back, then certain things start mattering. And then we all kind of just, not all of us, but some of us get into this bullshit. And I see dudes on Facebook feed, and I'm like, dude, why are you resharing this? Like, you know better. Homie, you know.
Like what?
Like they'll say, for example, everyone who just leeches on here on the system, you know, they just want to drain this country. They don't love this country, and when he said that, I'm like, dude, I was born and raised on food stamps, like. And one big part, the reason why I wanted to join the military was because I felt there's a lot of reasons, but one of them was this country took care of my family. It's time for me to take care of this country and do my part. I saw 9/11. I've always wanted to join, but that was a big part, dude. I felt like me joining was my way of repaying for all that government cheese. You know what I mean? So when he's saying stuff like this, I'm like, dude, that's not even true. And like, how can you just share this meme? Or it's not, at that point, it's not really a meme. It's more of this ugly post of like everything.
Well, I think like it just in general, like the whole social media is reduced to like memes, you know, like it's just like your whole argument is like what a photo with three words, like that's your entire argument for either side, right? Like, and I think it's like super politicized too. It's like you're either, you know, like it's not like, well, we can have immigrants, we have opportunities, we need this for our economic growth. It's just like, hey, either, you know, we got closed borders or we have open borders. Like there's nothing in between. You know, either you want people coming in here staking American jobs, or you know, you want open borders. Like what is it? And it's like you have these like, and there's no discussion.
Yeah, dude, 100%. And dude, I'm not for like, yo, let everybody in. I love this country, and I know there's bad people who want to come and leech on this or destroy this in one way or another. So like, but that whole subject is very complex, and to say and try to summarize it in a meme is not going to do it justice. Another thing that isn't going to do it justice is like, you know, this whole Afghanistan thing. Somebody asked me, because I put, you know, like, asked me a question based off my guess, and one of them was like, oh, how come you guys gave them a bunch of tanks, helicopters, and ammo? And I'm like, bro, you can't, I don't know where you're getting your information from, but as far as I know, nobody was like, all right, man, let's do an inventory of all the tanks we're leaving the Taliban, of all the helicopters. Are they working? Okay, they're good, working, okay. Rifles, bullets, okay, ready, set, and drop them, walk away. Like that's not what happened. That's not what's happening. There's a lot of misinformation, and there's a lot of views on this. And how do you feel about this? What's going on?
Man,
someone who spent some time there.
No, it's like heartbreaking, dude. I mean, like from the humanitarian perspective, you know, I have like many perspectives on it, right? Like my personal, like, own emotional attachment to it, right? Like I was there, you know,
Where were you?
I was in the Ghazni province in Paktika. We ran missions out of Sharana and then Shank. And, you know, we were linked up with like a special forces group. They had this planned withdrawal, right? It was like 2012. Obama had like said like, we're going to give the battle handoff to the Afghan forces. We're going to give them some space or something along the lines. Like that's the general geopolitical like strategy that they had. And so they wanted like these SF guys with their Afghan commandos to go out there, and we're just going out and doing some HVT targets, like, or, you know, support. Yeah. So we're providing the outer cordon and going out and running like about a dozen or so missions, and running, you know, KLEs, like key leader engagements, doing some like just patrols in the local area, and, you know, but like, you know, guys got hurt, guys, like, I mean, I remember my first day, like it was like our first mission, you know, like we had this real fucking badass dude, like in our sister platoon, this guy, Sergeant Hernandez, like a fucking Silver Star, Purple Heart from Iraq, you know, he's like saved some like Iraqis, and like I was always like, this guy's like a badass. Plus he was like a hard charger. Like, he was always like real like loud and animated. Yeah. So like, I always like, I guess not necessarily looked up to him, but I mean, yeah, I fucking look up to him. Yeah. Legit. Like I thought this guy was like, I mean, you got a Silver Star. It's like right underneath the Medal of Honor. Like that shit's like a badass, right? Like he risked his life. He got wounded. He came back. It was like, all right, this guy's fucking here with us. Like we're gonna be all right. Like this guy's got a ton of experience. Plus like all the other leadership like there. Like we're gonna be all right. Like this is like our deployment. We're gonna go out there. Sure, it's dangerous. Like, I mean, you don't really feel the danger until like you start like seeing some shit. Like you get to Afghanistan and you arrive at like Bagram, and it's like fucking Disneyland. You know, there's like Burger King and McDonald's. You're like, oh, this is not a big deal. Yeah. And then you start pushing out a little further into like some of the other FOBs, and then you start like seeing things like, you know, we go with some cop, and you look at the tent and it's like just fucking looks like stars, and it's like, oh, that's just shrapnel coming in because they mortared us like letter day.
Yep.
And you're just like, oh, okay, like, you know, people are getting fucked up here, and like
Yep.
this is like a fucking real, like, shit's real, like it's getting very fucking real, and your blood starts like getting a little cold, and you're like, okay, maybe like this is dangerous, and maybe this whole commitment I signed up for is like, there's gonna be a cost to all this, right?
Dude, I was talking to Analia the other day. What fucking movie? I can't remember what movie it was, but there's killing, right? And they were saying you're paying. Oh, it was The Boys. Have you seen the show The Boys?
Yeah.
Dude, remember when the guy's like, there's a price to pay for all this later on. I remember when I was in Afghanistan, as shit's going down, thinking that like I know I don't quite understand. I know I don't understand what's happening, but I feel like there's gonna be a price to pay after this. You can't just go and see shit like this or do shit like that and think that
You're talking about like personally, like
personal and on the outside. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we're all gonna go fuck shit up, come back, everything's cool.
I mean, I think personally, like, yeah, I think a lot of that like hit home with me in terms of like the cost of like all the shit that we did as like me and the other soldiers, and you know, but to go back to Sergeant Hernandez, like on our first mission, the dude ended up getting hurt, like.
Bad.
Like, well, you know, we got into a firefight.
Yeah.
They shot at us. They went in and decided to engage the enemy. And then they got pinned down by machine gun fire. And the dude, like, this other guy, Sergeant Bashard, who was like the weapon squad leader, got hit by the ricochet.
Yeah.
Like in his helmet. It didn't like fucking hit him in his head.
Yeah.
But like, I guess it knocked him like to the point where like he was concussed. So he stood up and started like in the middle of a firefight, just like fucking like. So Hernandez comes up and runs and grabs him and pulls him down. And I guess there's like, well, you know how they build shit over there? Like there's a fucking well in the middle of this village with no walls, just a fucking hole, like 50-foot well. And both of them fall into it.
Fuck.
Yeah, and they just tumble down, and, you know, Bashar punctures his lungs and Hernandez breaks his legs, and they're both down there. And then eventually, like, you know, we take the position, stabilize it. They fucking call in some air support, and then they scatter. But, you know, these two dudes are still fucking down there for like a couple hours, and they had to hoist them out, and like I never saw them again.
Yeah.
And I was like day one. I was like, that was our first mission. And I was like, all right, well, this is like, you know, two of our more senior guys like gone.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, all right. I guess like this shit like doesn't matter like how much experience you have or like what the fuck's going on. Like,
Dude, especially in Afghanistan, dude, there's the terrain. There's no like blueprints where some professional was like, you're gonna build this here,
bro, these
that
bullshit,
here.
like you remember the stairs, like walking up and down stairs
Yeah.
at night with night vision, and it's like they have a stair that's like 6 inches, and then the next one's like fucking 12 or 14 inches, and you're like stepping, and you're just like trying not to fall on yourself. Dude, the amount of times I rolled my ankles, I was like, fuck.
Dude, we had a combat controller. Man, he rolled his ankle, right, and he started limping, and we saw it kind of happening. What happened was, right as soon as the fighting season was going to start, the Taliban put this huge fucking flag in the valley, and as a, you know, it was basically a big fuck you middle finger to us. And then so we were doing the village stability operations, living in the house, fighting out of the house. So at night, a bunch of us went. We took down that flag and replaced it with one of ours.
Nice.
But when we're coming back, this is Wardak, so the terrain is you know, you're what, at 8,000, 9,000 feet elevation, and you know, and he rolls his shit, and we're like, dude, we can't be fucking seen or heard. And then he starts limping, and we start walking because it was far, and then he rolls it again, dude, and then we're going, and then now at this point we're almost close to our house, and then he rolls his shit again, dude, and you know what he does? He just throws his fucking gun down. He's like, fucking shit. And I remember the fucking, was it the Fox? Yeah, from the team, or the Echo. I'm sorry, the Echo from the team was like, "Are you okay, man? Like,
You gonna be all right?
are you gonna be all right?" Like, so we for a little while they called him baby Bambi legs.
Yeah.
But dude, so you spend all that time there, and then when did you start paying attention? Because I'm not sure what your feed looks like. Did you immediately see like, yo, the Taliban's making a hard offensive?
Oh, you mean like,
What's
so
happening now?
we're going back to like today, right? Today. You know, fucking, I think, I don't know, dude. I was in Mexico City, right? And I was, you know, on a business trip, and then I'm just like looking at my feed and seeing some of these videos and seeing some of the fucking shit that just like immediate, because I always knew that the ANA, you know, I mean, you spend some time with them and you
Yeah.
fucking go and serve, and you're just like, these guys aren't professional soldiers.
Fuck no.
They fucking don't have the discipline. They don't have the rigid structure. And like, so I never looked at them like, you know, I would never trust them to pull security for me at night while I slept, for example. Because I'm like, this guy's going to fall fucking asleep and I'm going to end up dead.
Yeah.
Because these guys are not to be trusted in that way.
Yeah.
Not to disparage, like, because I do know that apparently, like, they lost like 8,000 soldiers or something along those lines. Maybe I'm exaggerating the number, but you know, they did fight the Taliban, but a lot of them like just capitulated so quickly.
The ones who were fighting, the ones who were willing to fight, almost immediately just started dying, and then which made the other ones who weren't really that in. Easily just be like, yo.
They lost their leadership, and that's it. Like you lose like that backbone, and they just crumbled, you know. And
Dude,
then,
I saw a video of an Afghan soldier crying. Did you see that one where he doesn't want to give up his rifle? He's telling the commander, don't surrender. Don't surrender. And he's crying.
I
He's
saw
like, dude,
that one. It's like a Afghan Special Forces guy, and like,
put your rifle down. He's like, no. And he didn't want to.
Yeah.
And it's like when I see stuff like that, when I see, and I know everyone else's experience varies, right? Kind of like I was talking about when you grow up, if that's all you know, that's all you see, I get it, you know, I get it. But there's more to the world, you know? And there's more to the whole Afghan situation. And I hear some vets be like, look, they were just getting paid. They don't give a fuck about the country. They don't, and I'm just like, dude, if that was your experience, I feel for you. I'm sorry. But the Afghans we were with, all the Afghan Special Forces guys and the Terps, like, dude, they fought hard.
Yeah.
We have, luckily for us, we got both our Terps here. One of the Terps was shot in the chest, and so the vest stopped it.
Mm-hmm.
But they sent him to the hospital, and the ODA was like, he ain't coming back. Like, he ain't fucking, and like, and then he rolled up in a taxi, and he's like, they were like, you know, what was going on? They're like, I'm not gonna stay in the hospital. I want to be here with you guys. Plus, I'll get killed over there.
Yeah.
And then that's when they were like, dude, you're back. And then he got blown up twice. And then while I left, when I last left him, there was a big attack. I saw this coming. I'm not proud to say that I saw it coming, but I felt like there was going to be an attack in our like motor pool area. There was a bunch of HESCOs. And at this point we were in the valley. There was an old police station that we took control of. And when the local police would come in here and like talk to us and all that stuff, some of the dudes were still stay on the guns in the back of the trucks. And I'm like, dude, I don't like this. And we would park there, but yes, we have guns on the vehicles, but I mean, dude, it takes forever to fucking start up the vehicle, load up the Crow system, and then so you can start using it to fucking start shooting, you know? So I'll keep my grenade launcher there just so I can have something, because like I feel like something's gonna happen here. Okay. As soon as we leave, something happens there. They killed some soldiers. One of the SF guys lost his leg. And then that Terp, his name's Sergel, I messaged him and he said, oh, yeah, so-and-so happened, but I'm fine. And then when he said, one day he messaged me, he's like, hey, I know the last team was working for my citizenship. I got it. Where do you live? And I'm like, oh, I live in Southern California. He's like, dude, I'm in Sacramento.
No way.
And it just happened to be the first year I was out. So it was my first connection of anybody who I'd served with overseas. And it happened to be 4th of July. So I drove up because in my opinion, I'm like, dude, this dude fucking has, before I met him, I've been shot at, blown up. And then while he was with us, got hurt. So 4th of July.
He stayed too. Like he stayed in Afghanistan.
Stayed.
Like that's his day job. Like that's like fucking crazy to me.
Yeah. Dude,
the Terps are like, and they have like, the consequences for me going to Afghanistan is like, I went there, I experienced it, but I get to go home and then I could pack it away as like something on my shelf. But like, I imagine the Terps there, it's like, dude, they can't pack that shit away because it's their country.
Home. Dude. But before I forget, so when I meet him in Sacramento, 4th of July, we're having dinner at his house. I asked him like after a while, because I don't want to ask him where his family was, his wife was there. I was like, yo, what was going on? They're like, what happened? And then I see a big old fucking scar on his head. When I messaged him, like, yo, what's going on, dude? You guys okay? I heard so-and-so. He's like, yeah, I'm fine. Nah, dude, he got shot in the fucking head.
No shit.
Yeah, he got shot in the head, and I think where else he got shot, the shoulder or something, and he just didn't want any of us to worry.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing the way he saw it, I'm okay. These dudes died. One of them lost his leg. I mean,
Yeah.
I just have a nasty scar with a bullet fucking grazed my fucking head, and it's like solid,
Yeah.
So, and then Dave is here too in Tennessee, which I want to go see him. And a bunch of Afghan commandos, dude. Like, the whole situation just fucking sucks. But, anyways, so you see, you're in Mexico City, and you're seeing all this shit go down.
Yeah, man. Like the baby the babies on the wall. And like, I don't know. It just, I don't want to get too political, but like, it just seems like so fucking mismanaged.
Yeah.
Like that whole withdrawal. Like,
No, it's not even political. It's just what is.
yeah. But I mean, I think immediately it starts going like, well, fucking Biden fucked up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, honestly, he's like the president. He's in fucking charge, and this is his call. He decided to do this. Like, he was always like, well, Trump, decided to do the pullout, and we just went ahead and did with the plan. I'm like, well, yeah, there's a lot of policies that Trump had that you reversed immediately the first day in office, so you could have just decided, fuck it, we're gonna stay here.
I agree.
You're your own fucking man, are you not?
Yeah,
You're
I never
the most
thought
powerful man in the world right now.
Yeah,
So,
I never thought that would happen, but a lot of people, emotions are high, and it's not that I don't get emotional, but I like to take a step back, digest things, and what I feel like a lot of people are forgetting is, first of all, he wasn't handed a solid fucking thing. He wasn't like, the mistakes of what's happening now is the lack of decision and bad decisions from the beginning, because it wasn't like he was handed something where the Taliban has been defeated, the ideology is over, the government is not corrupt, the local police are solid, the ANA are well trained, organized, the Afghan special forces are solid, everything's running smooth. No, he was handed fucking something terrible, and then he just decided to, I'm out mentally, and just fucking fuck the whole situation up. And it's like, how did this happen? Well, when you look back, you see administration after administration, and military leaders. And what a lot of people don't know, and in my opinion, is when you get that high, yes, they might have a uniform, but they're politicians at that point. All those high, the generals and stuff like that, and you get handed this fucking mess, and you keep making these bad calls, and it's like, I like to take a step back and be like, okay, if I live in the United States of America, if I want to buy a car, what dealership am I gonna go to? I have dozens of dealerships to fucking pick from. Lexus, Audi, BMW, Honda, Toyota. You have all this stuff. If I want to go get a soda, there's like 100 fucking sodas to pick from. If I want to go to a good school, there's dozens of good schools. If I want to go to the hospital. But when it comes to who leads the country, we only get two choices.
That's true.
And it's this fucking system of people being so, fucking Ryan, I had this open so I can see, and our guest said, well, I don't think I can make it down there. You guys should come up to Costa Mesa, Tustin area when you're done, though.
We just gotta start roasting them, man.
Dude, I'm gonna finish this point, and then I'm gonna roast this dude.
Yeah.
And what was I saying?
Well, essentially, we have the
you
two-party system,
yeah,
right?
so you have this two-party
system.
system. Everyone's so engraved into left or right. Which, by the way, if anybody's curious, I'm fucking neither. And it feels like, oh, if I say something on that side, I must be with this side. Or if I say something about this side, people feel attacked because they've engraved. It's part of their identity.
It's like making fun of their family. It's
Yeah.
like it just becomes like Trump's like dad or Biden's dad. And
Yeah.
It's like, I'm talking shit about your grandfather, like making a bad decision.
Yeah.
And also there is people who do that though. That essentially like it's tit for tat, right? It's like, gotcha. It's like, oh, there's probably politicians that are like excited about Afghanistan falling apart like this because it's like going to score a ton of political points.
Yeah.
And that's like a sad way to fucking look at it. But
it is, man. And I feel like America deserves better. And I understand if you voted and this is something I've been thinking about a lot and keeping it within myself. But I get it. If you voted for Biden, I get it. If you voted for Trump, I get it. If as in, I get it if you were born and raised in a certain way, and that is the highest, best leader you've ever met. I get it. I mean, if that's the best that you've seen, I get it. But that's not the best I've seen. I've served in the military. I've worked with great leadership in the special operations community and outside, and been around with peers where I'm just saying great leadership as in they can tell dudes what to do, but it just you see how they manage themselves, you see how they manage resources, the environment, other people, how they talk, and their actions on and off the battlefield, and you see that and you're like, that's fucking great leadership. So, and then when I see who our options are, based off my experience, I'm like, that's not the best this country has to offer, and it's not.
No,
but
I think politicians are good at getting elected. That's essentially their main prerogative. You know, if they have some policy decisions that they want to push forward, and if they're able to do it, you know. But I think the main prerogative is to win. You know, like they're winners. Like, I want to win, and I'm going to win and occupy this office, and then essentially, if I could push forward some policy. But yeah, I don't feel like either Trump or Biden was like, great. I wouldn't want to work for either of them, for example. You know, dude, I wouldn't want them to be my like immediate supervisor.
100%, dude. That's why I always say my loyalty will always be with the men and women who serve and protect this country overseas and stateside. I was just at an event where we had a bunch of law enforcement, you know, and it wasn't like an event as in we got together and we shot and we grilled and maybe said some stories and like that was it. I mean, yes, we did do all that, but it was on a deeper level. We spoke as individuals, we spoke as human beings, and it makes me sad to hear some of the stories on how some of the dudes were like when I first meet people, I don't tell them I'm a cop. When they ask me what I do for work, I say I'm a garbage man. I take out the garbage, and because he was, you know, saying like he's proud of his service, you know, stateside, but it's gone to a point where he feels something that he's proud of, he can't even express.
I think being a cop right now is tough. It's like a tough job because,
dude, it's a tough job.
I mean, it's a tough job in general, like, because you're having to deal with all of like society's worst people.
Dude,
like,
so
people call you when they have like a problem. Like it's going to be violent. It's going to be someone that they don't want to deal with. You know, like
no one calls a cop to like, hey man, I'm having a barbecue. You want to come over?
Like they're gonna call a cop because it's bad. And then now it's like they even have on both sides people criticizing them. It's like,
dude, because I base my opinions and how I feel and how I see the world based on real world action. Like, if I see it, I know it's real. I know it's true, and I'm not tied down to certain beliefs because there's a lot of things that I thought this was it, and I was wrong. So I adjusted, and because I wanted to understand the police thing, I went to go do a ride along. I went to go do a ride along a night shift just to see, you know, what's happening. Dude, one of our first calls is a dude exposing himself in front of children, and then another one, somebody getting violent and throwing beer bottles and stuff like that, and dude, it was just call after call after call, and I had to ask him. You know, first I was professional, and then after I was like, dude, what
do you do with all these assholes?
How do you? And he'd been in 10 years, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, how do you do it? How do you do it for 10 years? What has been the shift that you've seen from when you first started to now? What do you guys need? What do you guys not need? And just like real questions, not just the typical, you know. I like to ask meaningful questions, man. That's why that's why I wanted to have you here. And I think your service is honorable. It's great. It's people like you, dude, that it makes me proud to be an American. Because not that many people sign up, and then to go to USC, dude, that's fucking huge, man. There's not that many people in the world, in this country, can say that they did their time in the military, went to USC, and then to that you have certain ideas or dreams, and then you go do this, and it's fucking tough, dude. Like, I know these questions, I know the answers to being an entrepreneur and all this and that, because I mean we're based in different products, but dude, I've had times where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do that or do this. But as we were talking, dude, when I hear other people's stories, it gives me more perspective on my life and stuff like that. Like the limo got hit, right? And it's a big part of my company and stuff like that. And then Ryan and I were talking about it, and then you come in and I'm like, dude, what's going on? So and so.
The dishwasher thing.
Your $20,000 dishwasher.
Well, yeah, it's fuck, man. That kills me. It's like as well. It's a $17,000 commercial dishwasher. It's like this Hobart. Hobart's like this really great brand, and we have like mixers, right? They make dough mixers. We've had them for like 30 years, like fucking tanks. So I buy this thing, and I'm like stoked about it, right? Because it's gonna help our dishwashers do a better job, and it also cut some labor hours and like make them focus. Like a big thing, like a big problem I had when I first came in was just a lot of the maintenance and a lot of the cleaning and a lot of the things were just not being up to standard. So, I'm like, all right, cool. If I get this machine, it'll help not only just keep things clean, but also I could focus on the other areas and get my guys to just not just wash dishes, but like do everything else and implement some standards and maintenance. And like I did all that. But anyways, this machine, right, was $17,000. Then it's like, okay, well, the water line that you have, you need a larger commercial water line. So like, all right, cool, a couple $1,000 there. We need an extractor for the hood because it's the steam that it creates. So you need then the $1,000 on the roof, and then installation, and then power lines as well. And then we need a water softener. It's like $3,000. So it's like, okay, cool. It's like $20,000, and the thing is broken right now. Like it doesn't work. It's not draining properly.
Yeah.
And it's like I've had it down for a week, and I'm just like, God, it's killing me,
dude. And then when you ask me about the limo, I'm like, I don't want to talk about the limo at this point, dude. Fucking
yeah. Well, it's under warranty, and so like the guy's gonna come in supposedly tomorrow. Like this first thing, wake up tomorrow, call him like, hey, where's your guy? And then if they don't have a technician like on bat, I'm gonna give him an earful. Like I wanted to like, I don't. Deal with the customer service agent. I'm not just gonna like straight just be all vinegar. Like I want to be a little honey. Like, hey, help me out here. I'm trying to do this and that. But obviously, at a certain point, like if they're not providing service, I'm like,
Yeah.
Dude, I think I'm confident that they're gonna fix it. And then Yeah. But I mean, I had a fire dishwasher. I had a new dishwasher. I got all these employee problems. I mean, the problems. The list goes on, and those are things that are just like operational that are just keeping the ship afloat. Yeah. And I want to like take this ship and put like rocket fuel and like grow the business, right?
Yeah.
Like, get a second business.
And now you have a social media, right? Because I asked you, dude, social media is huge, man. I got a friend who owns a place, and they do Valentine's heart-shaped conchas. Dude, the line is around the corner, and they sell out. And because it's in a, what's it called? Fucking gentrified area. Yeah, dude, the amount per concha, you wouldn't believe it.
It was like $2-3 per concha.
They're paying, dog. They're paying.
Yeah. I mean,
and they're upset if there's no more.
Yeah, 85 cents. Like, a lot of our product, like,
but now
we're
people
dealing
can
with
see
a customer that is very sensitive to price increases. Yeah. So that's something that that's the big thing I want to do. And I was telling Ryan this. It was off camera right now. It was the point of sale system that allowed us to track it right now, because we're just doing cash registers and the little credit card machines. So I can't like have any traction. But like if I could get that data, drive it, and control the inventories and do all this, like it would be tremendous for the business.
Dude, man, and I'm glad you got the social media thing going, because now people, it's like
you can refer them,
yeah, people can see it and be like, you know what, let's go check this out, and then we're gonna do the promotion soon. The limo got hit, which fucking slowed down a bunch of shit, dude. So they paid for the repairs, but now I'm fighting the loss of income thing, but yeah, dude, So people, because this is gonna come out ASAP. We're gonna work on it. You want to do it? You want to run 2 or 1?
Let's do 2. Or maybe do 2 runs. We could do one small run, like make 1,000 or 100, or
Dude.
I don't know how many. You make an order, and we could fulfill it.
All right, we'll do a September one and then an October one, closer.
Yeah.
So we're if you guys can make it to his bakery, I will have for the first, however many people show up, I'll have a bunch of OG pumpkin swag. I'll be there myself, handing them out, selling them. We'll do that, and then we'll have some good prizes as well, giveaways for I'll pick a random number, and then you'll have A, B, and C or whatever. But what else before I start roasting Ryan do you want to cover? Because ladies and gentlemen, Ryan sent me a text. Well, sent us a text, and I have my phone open so I can see what he's saying.
It's gonna get brutal.
And first of all, it was his idea, right? This podcast was his idea. He's here. Well, I don't want to say home. I mean, this is not.
He's the homie, man. He's the homie. He's the reason. He's the glue, right?
Yeah.
Like he's the reason he's between us because he brought us together, right? Like he met. How'd you meet Ryan?
Dude, I met Ryan because I was at Orange Coast College. I had 0 friends coming out of the military because I tried to hang out with people from my high school, and I did it once. And I remember just looking at them and at the hangout and being like, we're just not the same. Like we
they're different life paths.
Different life paths, and I tried to explain something and you don't understand it. You try to explain something, I don't really understand it. So my first friend was actually a female Marine, which was so funny, dude, because my wife was like, didn't like her.
Yeah.
Was like, nah, like.
For what is it, like jealousy reasons or like just because like
jealousy because she had not met her and then to be honest at the same time we were kind of having a split. And I was like, she's just a friend, and she's like, no, and I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm like, she's like one of the boys. And when I say she's like one of the boys, I actually mean she's one of the boys. I would say she's got a bigger dick than us. Okay.
Nice.
And then now that they all know each other and they're friends and they're fucking they roast me in the group chats. I always bring it back. I'm like, remember when you used to think that Yachty was a thing, dude? Because she's like. It takes a certain man to handle that type of woman.
Yeah,
dude. She would roast us. She would like be, and not even roast you or like in a cool like, yo, dude, she's funny. You'd be like, God damn, man, you're trying to hurt me right here at this point. You're trying to like cut deep, and she's cool. So she's like, oh, I go to the VRC, so the Veteran Resource Center. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I think I stopped there once. Not really. I don't want to go. And then she's like, yeah, just come. There's like cool people.
Yeah, I mean, there's some like weird people.
There are some weird people, and
I mean, I remember in Santa Monica, I met this weird dude like named Picor, man. This guy would always come up to me and be like, yo, what do you think about El Chapo? And this white guy like from like Pacific Palisades, and I was like, the fuck, bro? Why are you always asking me about this shit?
Why
like,
would I know?
First of all, like, what am I a subject matter expert on this fucking narco trafficker?
Yeah, I know him. We go to Christmas parties together.
Yeah,
why? What's
what
up?
I think about him, I think he's a fucking murderer, dude. He's a fucking drug trafficking murderer who's like hopefully locked away for the rest of his goddamn life.
Oh,
what do you want from me? Like, bro, the same as you, all right? I don't like him.
Dude,
like,
yes, you do meet you. I would say, look, man, regardless of what we're saying, good. If you find yourself in a position similar to us, it seemed to say you didn't have much friends when you got out.
No. I mean, I met most of my friends and the friends that I stuck with in college, like through the VRC.
Yeah.
I even got involved in like being the vice president at USC's VRC. Like, so you do bring in a ton of people. You get weirdos, but there's weirdos everywhere, man.
There's weirdos everywhere. And dude, so because one of the things I didn't like about the VRC was I would go in and day out, and it would be not all of them, just a small handful, 2 or 3 of them, that would be complaining and bitching every single day about people who they said all they did was bitch and complain. And I was like, dude, can you not see what's happening? You are doing what you say other people can just keep doing.
Yeah.
And you're not putting energy to either fix this problem or make any changes. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't fucking do this. But so when your girl was like, oh yeah, we should go, I was like, all right. And I go in there, and it's a officer meeting. I think she said she was interested in a position or something. Mm-hmm. I go in there, and Ryan's there. He's the president.
Oh, is he?
And he gave updates on what's going on and stuff like that. And dude, I don't know when's the last time I ever done this in my life, or if I ever done this in my life. And I guess not even, because when you're kids, you kind of just make friends, right? You never, as a kid, as a 7-year-old, you never.
No, yo, be my friend.
You want to be my friend?
Yeah,
dude. So I literally I am fucking, my heart's pounding, and I walk up to him and he's sitting down, and I don't know which way this is gonna go, but I just put myself out there. I'm like, hey, my name's Angel Cortes. I heard that you were a ranger. I'm actually a ranger too, man. I just got out, and then I thought, he could be like, well, yeah, whatever, loser, fuck out of here.
Oh, that's cool, bro. Fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off, ho. And they're like, no, but dude, but he was super chill, and then we became friends, and he lived with me for a while. We would, we would go work out, and became really good friends. And then he went to USC for business, which bummed me out because, dude, as much as I am good at adapting to situations, to change, I don't like it. I just don't fucking like it. Well, regardless of what it is, I don't like it. But I just happen to be good at adapting it for the most part. So when he left, I was like,
no, it sucks, man. I felt the same way when he fucking went out to the Pacific Northwest. He's up in Seattle, right?
Yeah, around there.
Yeah,
so
and he's up there and he's fucking gone. And I'm like, you son of a bitch, how dare you abandon us?
Yeah, so he takes off to USC, and I go to Cal State Long Beach because that's the closest place that has a nutrition dietetics program. And as he's leaving to go to Washington, he's like, yo, come to this bar, and then that's where I met you.
Shannon's or some shit.
Yeah, dude, but fucking God, yeah, this is Ryan's idea. This motherfucker, he has a really interesting story. He's like you in many ways. It's hard for him to say, talk about, what you're doing and stuff like that when you've done. And his is a very interesting story. I'm gonna say good stuff, and then I'm gonna roast him.
Yeah, he's a badass. He wouldn't be my friend, and I wouldn't care if he didn't show up if I didn't like him. Right?
Yeah.
Not only do I like his personality, which is he's very humble and he's cool, but also the guy's a fucking stud, right? Not only regiment, which in of itself fucking badass.
Yeah, and then he gets shot.
Yeah.
Multiple times, which I make fun of him all the time. Which I'm surprised he doesn't just crush me when I make fun of him. I think one time I was just like, it wasn't even. I don't even think there was an in for it, and I was just like, well, maybe you didn't get shot.
Son of a bitch.
And because he knows how I am, he ignores me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't ignore me. I want that reaction,
Yeah.
And yeah, dude. So I never talked to him about it, and I thought this would, because it was his fucking idea. I thought we would talk about it, how he went to USC for business, did an internship in Boeing, and then I have a good idea why, but then just decided to go be a firefighter. And it's stuff that it's like, look, most people would think you're crazy. Why would you do that? You went to USC for business. You had an internship at Boeing. You probably could have got a job. You could have made so much money. But it's
like
not
a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah.
You're squared away. You're straight. You have the path in front of you. Why would you leave that path?
Yeah, and it's not. It's which some people see it like that. But it's, if you're not happy in what you're doing and you're more passionate about, let's say, service. Maybe to be a EMT, a firefighter, fucking SWAT dude or a Marine. That's what you're passionate about. That's where you're going to feel fulfilled and happy. Because, dude, I for those who have the ability to not have a 9-to-5 cubicle job, I would say, yeah, it's kind of scary and you're not guaranteed success. But as far as I know, we get one shot at this.
Yeah,
right? And
I mean, you're gonna putting it I ended up putting in way more hours than I did my previous work, and then there's hours on the back end too, which this is technically helping promote my business. This is also I'm thinking about my business. I'm thinking about that whatever dishwasher staffing, thinking about okay, cool, decisions that I'm making, and these are thoughts, and I'm always running. I mean, you have to be able to turn on and off, but it's there, it's work stuff.
But Ryan is.
I wanted to say Ryan's story though. I think Ryan's got a badass story because the dude only got shot, right? He got fucked up in Afghanistan. 2 weeks into his deployment, fucking rehabs himself, goes to ranger school.
We'll save it. We're gonna save his story, but where
Oh.
I wasn't gonna say more of it because I wanted him to say it.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Yeah, fucking loser. But it's like, dude, Ryan should have fucking been here, okay? Because we just talked about this earlier. It's I don't want yes men around me, you're right. I don't want my friends to be yes men. If the people around you are agreeing with everything that you say, there is a problem. I don't know of anybody who's flawless and how they approach life and what they do. And I'm fortunate enough to have Ryan because I remember one day I had 4 classes, right? Full schedule, and one of my classes was like kind of really hard, and then the other ones were very, it's a workload, but it wasn't like extremely hard. But with that one extremely class, I was just like, this is too much. I can't do this. Like, it's a lot of stress, it's a lot of hours I see coming, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna drop this class, and I told Yadira, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna drop this class. I'll just have 3 classes. I won't be a full-time student. I'll lose some of the BAH. It's fine. And she's like, why? I was like, yeah, it's just a lot of work. It's at this hour, and then this and that, and then I have work, and she's like, oh, I see. And you know what she went to go do? She went to go tell on me to Ryan, and dude, like 30 minutes later, I'm walking to class, and he calls me. He's like, yo, and he never calls. Ryan isn't I'm gonna call you type of guy.
No, never.
Right, and it's hard enough to get him to talk or text, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, what's this I hear about you dropping a class? And I was like, and he let me fucking give my whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. Why are you being lazy? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, it's a lot of work, but you can do it. You're being lazy. Just do the work. It's not that bad. And I was like, yeah, but and he's like, no, man, just, dude, get it done. So you can get out of here, go to your next, your next semester, and then out of here, out of Orange Coast College.
Yeah.
And this is very early in our friendship, and I remember as I was walking away into class, I was like, you know what? He's fucking right. I was being lazy, but that's the type of people I want around me. I don't want yes men for him to be like, yeah, dude, fucking, you know what? That is a lot of work. Don't be a full-time student. No, dude, I want people to tell me when I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing wrong. And fucking Ryan right now, I wish he was a little bit more like that because this was his fucking idea. He should have been here. You miss him. I miss him. He's only gonna be here for 2 days. He's doing off other things, which may or may not be his fucking choice. I don't know. And it fucking bums me out, dude. I wish he was more like that because in that group chat with the Marines, I am the number 1 person who is more like, you know what, you're right. You know what, you're right. But some of them aren't like that, and I'm starting to, as I get older, I'm like, dude, I don't want fucking yes men around me. As the company grows and people thank me for this and that, I'm just like, bro, first of all, I make mistakes all the time. I try to show who I am and what I am. Like one of the dudes who I went surfing with this morning, I asked him, I'm like, because I met him at a jiu-jitsu gym, right? And he's like, dude, you surf? And I was like, yeah, let's go surf. And then I saw him at a shooting course because I'm an instructor for defense strategies.
Right.
And I'm like, and when I saw him over there, he's like, dude, I go to your gym. I'm like, that's right, dude. I've
seen you before.
I've seen you before. And so when he said, let's go surf, we went to go surf. And then as we're sitting down, Bolso Chica doesn't open until 6. And we got there like 5:30. We're talking, and he's like, hey, man. He's like, we're just talking, bullshitting. And then I asked him, like, oh, dude, how'd you find Classic Fight Team, the gym? And he's like, you. And I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, I heard you on a podcast. I wanted to get back into it, and I decided to go. He's an EMT right now.
Nice.
And I'm like, oh, so that's how you found out about defense strategies, and that's why I saw you at the course. And he's like, yeah, man, I follow your stuff. And then he asked me something really important, and he said, how's your life? Not that it's so public, more. And I'm like, you know what, man, there's pros and cons to it. And one of the things that a bunch of my mentors are trying to not convince me. They're leading me the right way. They're like, don't let money fool you. This guy specifically, Paul Gomez, he was at Hurley for a long, long time. And he's done projects with a bunch of people, and then he was at Nike for a while, and then a bunch of stuff that I can only imagine. I'm not recalling right now, but he's a good businessman, right?
Yeah.
And he's introduced me to people, and he's like, dude, don't get yes men around you, right? Because when everyone's kissing your ass and telling you that you're flawless, you're in the wrong group. All right, keep it close, small group, people you can depend on. And I'd been thinking like that, but when he said that, more than ever, I'm like, yo, like so when he asked me, so when the guy I went to go surf with, he's like, how is your life? No, just how's your life? Because it's starting to be more public. I'm like, dude, there's pros and cons to it. And one of the things that I don't like is everyone saying yes, and everyone. Like, dude, that's why more than ever, I fucking share all the stuff that I'm not, in my idea, a lot of people don't like that what I do, you know? People don't like that I listen to rap music with my kids in there. People don't like that I teach my kids guns. I mean, like, how to use guns. They don't like that I do drugs, even though it's psychedelics. They you know, so I share a bunch of stuff that makes me human. You know, I'm not flawless. I'm not perfect. But one of the things was like, dude, I don't want yes men around me. And I just wish, I don't know where I'm going with this. I
Wish Ryan was here?
wish Ryan was here, dude.
God damn it,
dude. All right. But yeah, dude, like I was saying, man, I just want him to be here because I miss the dude. I love that dude. That dude, he's a big part of my transition, dude. I mean, when I got out, I had no friends. I was in a dark place. I was going through what I call a storm. And he was my friend, dude. So it fucking it bugs me and it hurts that he wasn't here.
He's a solid dude, and I miss him. And I honestly, like, it would be good to have his contributions to this conversation.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, I agree with you with having the yes men. Like, I definitely don't value people's opinions that don't challenge my thinking.
Yeah.
You know, if I say something, you know, and if I'm not able to articulate it well, then essentially, like, I haven't thought through it, right? If you just ask a couple questions that are like, hey, what do you think about this? And it's like, oh, well, these are my opinions on it. It's like, well, have you thought about different perspectives on it? I think that, you know, you need to have people like that to get more well-rounded thoughts.
Yeah.
Whether it's like politics or your business or economics or any field, you know, you need to have challenges.
Oh, dude, I 100%
quality.
Agree, man. And with everything, dude, with everything that I do, I even ask my wife. Like, I ask her, like, you know, how can I be a better husband? You know, how can I be a better friend?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I even ask her, how can I be a better lover?
It's important,
dude,
yeah.
It's important,
If
you
you
know?
don't have that communication, like,
Dude.
you're not, you think you're doing something good, and it's like, well, this actually is not working for her.
Yeah, dude, that is my biggest fear. I remember, dude, I would tell her, like, hey, like, you gotta tell me, okay? You can't be faking the funk, and you know, she's like, no, don't worry. I would tell you, and we do talk about stuff like that.
Yeah.
And dude, sometimes input from other places, it helps so much, man. Like, a lot of people don't know this, man, but a lot of my art designs, you know what I do?
The kids wrong?
Dude, well, besides having my kids draw the main design, dude, I literally get my designs, I show my kids, and they say no, I'll run it.
Nice.
Dude, there's some designs where, like, I was like, I like it. I'm not sure if it's just like something's off, and I'll tell my kid, like, yo, what do you think about this? He's like, yeah, I like it. He's like, yeah. He's like, put it on a shirt. Done, dude. Done. You know, my kids they're so fucking funny, and I don't know what their world, what how they're growing up. I'm trying to raise them right, you know, but or I mean, I feel like I am, dude, but it's like they're starting to see who I am, so it's hard to, when I tell them, like, yo, you can't be cussing. My daughter's like, you hear music with cuss words all the time.
Yeah.
You cuss all the time.
You had your podcast, and I hear it.
Yeah.
It's all cussing.
Yeah, dude, you know, and
3 hours straight.
yeah,
Cussing.
dude. Oh my god. So that's what I mean by, like, it's kind of hard because they're starting to see, like, who dad is, you know. And they're like, you fucking are shooting at cars through, you know, the windows and stuff like that, and you're trying, you know, and whatever. Hopefully they go the right way, and which I feel like they are. But
Yeah.
anyways, dude. So what is the Instagram page?
Okay. Las Americas Bakery Official.
Okay.
So
And then-
LAS Bakery
Okay.
Official.
And then if anybody wants to contact you for whatever reason, business reasons or whatever, how can they get a hold of you?
You just email me.
And what is
Email
it?
me at CG@Las Americas Bakery Official. Oh,
Okay.
no, not Las Americas Bakery Official. CG@LasAmericasBakery.co.
Okay.
And then, is it going to be on like the description?
I'll put it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way it's, you know, you can just reference it real
Okay.
quickly because it's kind of long, right?
Yeah.
And then Las Americas is like Spanish.
How do you fucking spell that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get it. We'll get it covered, man. Anything else you wanna mention?
No, I think, I mean, we've had a good chat.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came on, man. I've been wanting to share this for a while. I talked to you about it, like.
No, we've talked about it and it's good.
Yeah.
And I'm glad. Like, I mean, it's kind of interesting where the conversation just kind of went. You know.
Yeah, dude. Before I forget, dude, With an Egg Production is doing a series called Veteran Entrepreneurs, but they just put the word together. I don't know how to say it. They put it
Okay.
together, and they've
With an egg.
With an Egg Production.
Okay.
They covered Trident Coffee. Have
Okay.
you ever heard of them?
No.
It's a Navy SEAL coffee company.
Cool.
They did Thrash and Raid, which is
Your
Benji's
boys. Yeah.
skateboard company. They just did mine. They're gonna do a few. They did a dispensary company, or not a dispensary, a weed company.
Right.
But they're gonna do a section on just food,
Nice.
and they're interested if you want to be on it.
No, I'll definitely look at that. You know, I think that'd be like more promotions, more
Yeah.
people. Like, I want to push on marketing. You know,
Yeah.
like there's a lot of like operational things. Like that's where I've been trying to consolidate things because I know that once like the marketing, it was a mentor of mine said that, you know, if you add marketing to your business, like adding jet fuel, and then it's going to explode at the seams.
Yeah,
So wherever you're weak is where you need to show up. So I've been trying to do that for the past couple of months. Like, you know, make sure our production, in terms of like our production team, you know, if I could double a production, am I going to have a baker mutiny on me?
yeah,
Right now, it's like I need probably one more baker before I have a mutiny. 'Cause
Yeah.
if I double the production and like it's just like, hey man, you just gotta work 20 hours now, they're gonna be like, nah,
yeah,
or just not make it, and then you know obviously it's gonna make me look bad because I promise like to deliver a product and they don't make it or they scrimp at the quality.
yeah.
So, but I definitely recruiting bakers, like that's been my focus. Recruiting staff, getting our machinery up to date. We just put in a new oven, we put in the dishwasher, we're getting new mixers, we're getting like all this new equipment. But yeah, like being able to market it, like I think is like the next phase, and it's gonna help blow it up.
Yeah, dude, I agree. I think you have a bright future in that business. I mean, it's been solid, but I think in the direction that you're doing with a new, fresh look, and I think you can do well, man. I look forward to eating there and doing those collabs. Again, so thank you everybody for listening. Quick shout out to Thrash and Raid and the Hero Games charity. They're sponsors. The Thrash and Raid is a skateboard company. So if you skate or want to start skating, or maybe just like some cool wall art, check them out. And then the Hero Games is a charity that does host events. It's a Green Beret company or charity, and they host events. Kind of like a smoke session, but it's long. You're going through water, mud. You're team event building, and all the money and proceeds go to fallen service members' family. So again, thank you for listening, and have a good day.
Peace.